Good morning, How to Heaven viewers. So this is going to be a really short video today, and it's going to be about my Porsche 996.1. It's a 2000 911, and the rear engine cover is getting weak. So if you don't open it all the way, it'll close on you. And it's a pretty heavy cover. It's got a built-in retractable spoiler. So I'm going to replace the damper strut that's in there. So this item right here, GS65280-1, made in China. This is from Amazon, and this is a replacement strut cartridge, and it's pretty cheap. And then you've got this one, and this one is from a company called Suncoast Porsche Parts. They got real good deals on low price Porsche parts, but they're genuine OEM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare these two, and we're going to see, is it worth the money, the difference. So here is the Amazon part, and it was about $24. I don't know if you can see that. It's made in Germany, and it's 7319LR. LR is left, right. Now some of these Porsches have two struts holding the rear trunk lid on, and some have one. Now here's the two parts, and here you can clearly see this is the Stabilis. This is the one made in Germany, and here is the one from Amazon. The genuine Porsche part, I paid $55 for it. Okay, so it was not cheap. Now some things to note are that the non-OEM part has some silicone lubricant inside the hole, and the two connectors are just slightly different. They look very, very similar though, and you'll see that that silicone lubricant is on both sides, so that's a nice touch. The shafts are about the same size, but the length is different. So the Porsche has a longer length than the aftermarket replacement. The aftermarket replacement has this little plastic cover that the Porsche doesn't. Alright, so this is a subjective test. We're going to get to the objective test in a little bit. So, when you have these two units, it's the only thing that's apparent on these two is that one of these has a longer rod than the other. And that's the Amazon one is the short rod, and the Porsche is the long rod. Then there's this little plastic cap that they have on the Amazon unit. So let's just do this test real quick. I'm going to push down on the rod and compress it on this piece of wood. So first the Amazon. And that takes a considerable amount of pressure. And here's the Porsche unit. If I had to say, the Amazon unit has more pressure than the Porsche unit. But now let's get to the objective test. So the second part of the test, we're going to use this. This is a refrigerant charging scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. I'm going to take the scale out, removing it. Actually, you know what? I might just leave it in. It's fine. I'm going to remove this part instead. And we'll set our piece of wood up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to now push down, just like we did before, Amazon first, Porsche second. So we're going to turn it on. And yeah, of course, it would be better if we plug the battery in. So let's do that first. So we plug the battery in and we turn it on. Now, this is pounds. Make sure it's zeroed out. And here we go on the Amazon unit. All right, so we're zoomed in and we push this in the center and go down. 71.13 pounds. That's the highest reading. Now the Porsche unit in the center and push down. 69.15. So you're going to need a couple of tools to do this job. First one is just a tiny little common screwdriver. The second one is more of a convenience safety item, and that is something to keep your rear trunk lid open while you work on it. Now I just happen to be working on my Black & Decker Workmate, literally working on it, taking it apart and replacing these. So I happen to have this, and let me show you the dimensions. Let me just measure this for you in case you want to make a board. It's exactly 2 feet long, and I'm going to stick it right here. There's a metal panel down there, and then I'm going to put it right under this cushion. There's a cushion here. When you close your lid, it cushions it, and I'm using that as a support. So here is our factory strut, and you can see it's got a little wire keeper kind of casing over it. So we'll be taking that off and reusing it. In the meantime, we've got to take the strut off, and you can see oil right there. We're going to start on the top strut mount first, and basically you're going to get your common screwdriver right there behind the keeper, and you're just going to pry it up a little bit, and it should come out like that on one side. Then we're going to do the same thing to this one, prying it up on one side. Doesn't matter which side comes out as long as one of them comes out. Okay, and there. Oop, fell off completely. Not a worry, because we don't care. So why would you worry about something you don't care about? There we go. That one's out. You can guess what that was. I pushed this trunk lid up pretty high, thus dislodging my safety keeper over there on the other side. So now I'll use my shoulder for my other hand and take this little wire keeper off, again with the same common screwdriver, just prying it out a little bit. And we don't want to mess up these tabs because we want to reuse it. So that means we're going to have to get a second screwdriver. So I'm hoping it's not too dark, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this one while pushing this little clip in. And that way we don't put undue stress on this little keeper. And you can see that it worked very effectively. So we're going to twist this one and push this one in again for the win. There. Now we can remove this as an assembly, and there you have it. So this is your strut cartridge. So now we're going to take this off again over here, this keeper, and we're going to examine it. So let me show you what we got here. Here is the factory wire keeper, and here is the Porsche part. And so this lines up with the stud where it mounts. You push that in, and yeah, then you'd snap this on. Now, I'm sure the burning question is, what if I buy the Amazon unit? Will I be able to use or reuse the Porsche wire keeper? So let's push it in place, and it's kind of close. And my guess is, yeah, you should be able to get it in there. You might have to do a little filing around here. I'm not going to install it again because I'm not going to keep the Amazon unit. I think the Porsche unit is a better quality. That's a personal opinion. I'm going to go with the Porsche unit. However, I just want to show you, if you did push it in there, this piece does not block your wire keeper. So you should be able to snap this one and this one with a little filing around here. You should be good to go. So I did want to show you a little something. If you recall from the comparison, the Amazon unit had a little silicone grease. So where would you put that grease? Well, here's the ball pivot right up here, and I can see that somebody has previously put, it almost looks like anti-seize compound in there. It's a little bit silver. So what you want to do is you want to get yourself some of this silicone, and I have you can get a tube of it from AutoZone or O'Reilly's or wherever you have it. But I just wanted to show you how you install it. And basically what you're going to do is you're just going to get a little bit on your screwdriver and put it right on the ball. After you wipe the ball off, of course. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that the Amazon unit that came with the silicone was kind of buried in that at the end of this pivot point. And if you took a close look at these balls, you'd see that it's flat here. So I don't believe that that silicone would even be maximized, because once you push it on, it would fill this empty void here before it wrapped itself around the ball stud. So that's that. And then I will show you the install of the unit. Now, one thing to note is that the factory, or not the factory, but the last strut was installed so that the rod was up. And or actually, let me just double check that. The rod body was up. And the reason we know that is because the wire keeper went on this like that. Okay, so we'll snap this in place. Then what you should do is you should loosen up your snaps. Now you can go like that, and what happened was it lifted up and then went this way, and there's these little grooves, so if you just push it down, it'll snap in place and capture that little stud there. So just make sure that you don't pinch yourself in the process of doing this. So just move that snap a little bit out of the way, get it, so that you can close that stud, or snap this cover over the stud. Okay, there we go. And just going to pull it that way, thusly. Now, we should be able to simply push this on, and it goes on simply, moving the snap ring, and it's now captured the upper stud. So what we're going to do then is we're going to do the same routine to the lower stud. And let me get you in closer. Okay, so this goes around the stud, and then you simply move your spring up. Hear that snap? It's in. Last thing we have to do is snap the wire cover around the wire. So here is the wire cover. We insert the wire into the wire cover, and then we're just going to snap the whole assembly. And there you have it. That's all there is to it. And now comes the moment we've all been waiting for. Then I can get that right sooner or later. Let's close the deck lid. And now we open the deck lid, and it doesn't slam shut on us. So that, my friends, is a job well done. And bottom line, if you buy the Amazon one, you pay half price. You buy the Porsche one, you pay double. Which one lasts longer? I don't know. The Amazon has a little more pressure. Leave it up to you. I'm keeping my Porsche. Thanks for the memories.